Howdy folks, today is Sunday, which means that it is time for our weekly MTGO tournament over on the Value Vintage Discord server. Today I wanted to try and test a theory that I had. So something that happens a lot on our Discord is that people ask for the top decks in the format, and one of the answers that I consistently see given is that Burn is very much a top deck, and that really doesn't seem to be the case only because people avoid playing the deck because it is boring. I'm not sure about the validity of that entire sentiment, both in that people don't play the deck because it isn't fun and enjoyable, and also that the deck is good. So we're going to run a little test today just to see if Burn is still a strategy that reasonably holds up in the Value Vintage format today. So the basis of the deck is the same that it has ever been. We have Goblin Guides, Monasteries, Swift Spear, and Eidolon of the Great Revel, just as the strongest, cheapest sources of repeatable damage that we would have access to. These are very traditional burn creatures, and you find them in essentially every burn deck in every format. Then we are loading up on lightning bolts. So we have the classics in Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning, Rift Bolt as well, just as another lightning bolt that can go to face or creatures. Lava Spikes, I'm only playing 2 because they are $1 a piece right now. And Skewer the Critics, I'm down to 3 because this card can be difficult to turn on. For the more expensive burn pieces, we have our Fire Blasts and our Skull Cracks. Those are both just very traditional inclusions in the burn deck as well. And then I was going through my options just for like the additional slots. And I wanted to try out Plasma Bolt. It's another 1 mana, 3 damage burn spell, but it does require being turned on by something leaving play. So this can be an opponent's creature, it can be one of our creatures, or it could be Seal of Fire. Seal is usually only played in the Chandra's Incinerator versions of Burn, but I figure as long as it is turning something on, then it may as well be worthwhile. In the sideboard, we've got very simple smattering Harsh Mentor for breakfast, for yard sale, or anyone who's looking to do a bunch of things. Magebane Lizard on the opposite end of the spectrum of doing a bunch of things. This guy punishes the spell-based decks instead. Searing Blood for anyone playing creatures, Hogak, the Mirror, etc. And Smash to Smithereens because it is a lightning bolt attached to a shatter. And that is the deck for today. I have very little confidence in this deck, and while I'm not going to be playing to like throw, I don't anticipate doing very well at all today. Today is more or less just a test to see if Burn is still actually one of, quote unquote, one of the best decks in the format, or if maybe we've moved beyond this very simple and linear strategy. We're going to start soon, so let's get to the games. Alright, time for round 1. Playing against Hadel. I don't know what he's doing today. I believe that he said something about playing an F tier deck, so he might be on like Infect or something. This hand, I would love a second mountain and potentially a third. We have 4 draws to find that and something to do on every turn up until then. He brought a friend, it's Luris. I don't know what Luris means. We will risk it for the proverbial biscuit. That is a swamp. That is a blackmail. Okay. I'm just gonna show him what's up. You can have any of my uncastables. I don't think Eidolon's gonna be like super good in this matchup because he's a black deck. Which means he's gonna have removal, and he also agrees, which is why he doesn't take it. That is another bolt. So I will suspend Rift Bolt past the turn. Oh no, he had 2 lands. How bad for me. If this is him to Turok, I don't think I can win the game. It's a Bandit's talent, which is significantly worse than him to Turok. I will pitch a Plasma Bolt. Okay. Suspend Rift Bolt. Cast Rift Bolt, target you. Land? No land. I will, however, skewer the critics, target you. Because that one's a little hard to cast if you only have 1 land. Alright, over to him. He will Surgical Extraction Fire Blast, which, that's okay. I mean, I did show him that I have a second one, but doing that on anything is pretty good. Raven's Crime, discard Eidolon. Raven's Crime, discard Lava Spike. Alright, we are both down to nothing. Except my opponent has 3 lands and I only have 2. I will be reserving the Lightning Bolt for when he goes to cast a spell. Or perhaps we just do it at end step, because he doesn't cast a spell. I will choose to lose 2 life off of this Bandit's talent. That's a choice that I'm making personally, and Heidel's influence has nothing to do with it. This is a Funeral Charm? Discard my mountain? Sure. Alright, we will pass. Shrieking Affliction. We are now taking 5 a turn. Alright, I draw a Rift Bolt, which I cannot cast in response to this Funeral Charm. Alright, you can have game 1, buddy boy. I will try to be better at the game this time. Magebane Lizard? I don't think he's gonna be gaining... Oh, as a black deck, he might actually be gaining life. What depends on having cards in hand to be good? Mostly just skewer the critics. So we will take those out for the lizards and try it again. Alright, I will play first. This hand has no lands in it. We certainly can't keep that one. This hand is very painful, but it does have creatures. We'll keep it. Pitch the Seal of Fire. Unfortunately, this Barbarian Ring is going to increase the opponent's clock, so I need to try to get as much damage in as possible before he can start getting racks going. Drew a Mishra's Factory, which is quite strong. The rack is notoriously one of Burns' worst matchups, just because I'm trying to empty my hand as quickly as possible, so they don't really even need to do that much work in order to, like, do their thing. So we attack with everyone, put him down to 14. He plays the factory. I don't think that's going to be blocking for another couple turns. Plays the rack. And a Raven's Crime. There goes Chain Lightning. Over to me, I take 3. Dry Mountain. There's not a particular reason to play out the mountain here, so I will just keep it in hand. He does have a Funeral Charm, so, like, it's probably going away anyway. There's Eumidian Hatchery, Shrieking Affliction, and just passes back. I will go to 9 here? No. 10. Play a Swift Spear. We're now doing 5 a turn. Attack with everyone. He gets an Inquisition, so that is nothing. He takes a pain to animate the factory, so yeah, we'll trade the Goblin Guide for the factory. I'm also fine with that. Inquisition sees the land. If he doesn't have... Even if he has a removal spell here, any lightning bolt is lethal. Except Rift Bolt, I guess. Alright, pass it back. I'll take my 5. Dry Mountain. Alright, we did not draw a non-land, so we lose the game. Alright, round 2 versus O'Malley Cat. Don't know what they're on. It doesn't matter, because we're on burn. Also, our clocks are too long. Alright, this hand has 2 lands, it has a creature, and it has non-creature spells. This is great. They play a Verdant Fen. Vernal Fen. Don't know what that means. I play Goblin Guide, but I do know what that means. That means I'm attacking for 2. Attack. Just a bit of attacking. Oh, they have an Abrupt Decay. So is this like an initiative deck or something? Him to Turok, the worst thing that could have possibly happened. Takes 2 spells. Of course it does. We will Seal of Fire. We will Goblin Guide. Get in there. They draw a card. And we will Skewer the Critics. They play the Llanowar Waste and Grist the Hunger Tide. Make a little bug. Pass the turn. I draw a second Seal of Fire. Considering if I want to Seal of Fire the bug to attack for 2, it doesn't seem super worthwhile when I could just attack and maintain my Seal of Fire. They have a Him to Turok, so if they go to cast him here, I'll just Skullcrack. They make another bug. 1, 2, 3, 4. Deep Cavern Bat. I will Skullcrack you. And your bat takes nothing. I draw a Mountain. Not great at this point in the game. Oh, I guess we won't attack with Goblin Guide. They attack with the bat, I'll just kill it. Don't want them gaining life. They make another bug. And now they cast their initiative creature. When they take the initiative, I will kill this. They Inquisition to find a mountain. Haha, get wrecked, nerd. I draw another mountain, so get wrecked to me, I guess. I'll make them block with a bug. Ooh, they double block. And pass turn. They choose to scry with their initiative. And they have 4 cards and a Planeswalker up on me, so... Alright, I can no longer win the game. We will bring in Searing Blood. Seems good. Take out the Plasma Bolt. That's probably the worst card here, right? Try like that. I will play first. This hand is good. Creature, 2 lands, and spells is exactly what we're after. I will start off with a Swift Spear. Get in for 1 damage. They play Soul Ring, pass the turn. I will play Eidolon of the Great Revel. And attack. Take him to 18, pass the turn. I play Llanowar Waste and Passageway Seer. I can not actually kill that right now, because it becomes a 3/3. There's a Rift Bolt. So I think I have to attack with Swift Spear, and then I will, like, Searing Blood when they block. Honestly, I should have attacked with both. That was very silly of me. I do get the initiative, however. I will get a land. play the land, suspend a Rift Bolt, and then I have Searing Blood and Skullcrack, so if they, like, attack, I can Skullcrack them, so they don't gain the life. They do attack. I think I'm going to block, actually. So yeah, if I block, this just, like, goes away forever. If I don't block, they get the initiative back, though. When does this trigger? Your end step. So it will become a 4/4 if I don't. So that means if I spend 2 to get rid of it right now and they take the initiative back anyway, I'm, like, still down. But I do have the Rift Bolt that I can just... Okay. Yeah, we will block. And then let it die. And then Searing Blood after so I don't take the damage. The Inquisition, so I will Searing Blood now. They're back to 17. I lose probably Skullcrack. Then they play another initiative creature, which will get Rift Bolted. Oh no, it won't. They put the counters on it. So I have to Seal of Fire and Rift Bolt. That sucks. Alright, Rift Bolt comes off. Target this. Play Mountain. Play Seal of Fire. Seal of Fire, kill this. So if I cast this, they go to 13. This is 4 down to 9. Sure. We got nothing else going on. Alright, so Rift Bolt, attack. Reclaim the initiative, make my Swift Spear bigger. Pass the turn. They play Once Upon a Time. And a third initiative creature. Yippee! I take 5. There's a Chain Lightning. I will Chain Lightning them. And then attack. Because if they block, then they lose their guy. If they don't block, they go to, like, 1. Alright, they will draw. They Once Upon a Time again. Deep Cavern Bat doesn't do anything. Mosswood Dread Knight does do a little bit of something. That's a Fire Blast. I will attack. They just block with the 3/2. That's fine. So I can sit on this Fire Blast for a little bit. They get a creature. I don't think this is ever going to get through ever again. Start the initiative over. They attack. It's fine. They're still in dead range. Grist. Make a bug. Play the Dread Knight again. Pass back. That's a mountain, because why would I ever draw a lightning bolt? How silly of me. No attacks. Pass the turn. They put 2 counters on their lifelinking bat. And attack for 3. They go to 10. Yeah, you can hit with everything. I can no longer kill them with 1 card. And they him to 2-rock me. Round 3. Bad Zelda. They're playing Mana Bond. This hand is perfect. We will start with a Goblin Guide and draw them a card that they will then put into play on turn 1 with their Mana Bond. It's a Blast Zone. There's the green source. There's the Mana Bond. Here's 6 lands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, only 5. I will play a Mountain, a Swift Spear, a Seal of Fire, and attack for 4. They turn Thespian Stage into a Blast Zone, cast Winding Way, and then add 3 more lands. I will play a Mountain. Suspend a Rift Bolt. Go to Combat. Attack. I assume they are going to blow up my creatures with a blast zone here. Oh, that's what's happened. I will crack my Seal of Fire to deal 2 additional damage. And then I will Plasma Bolt them for 3. They mulch. They play a Simic Growth Chamber, taking back their cycling land. Any source of 2 damage here is enough for lethal. So we will Rift Bolt. Target you. We draw a mountain. Pass the turn. They will return their Sandman, end of turn. And now they have a 9/9. They cycle some lands. Put Kahira in hand. Play Kahira. This is an elemental, apparently. And they attack for 11. I draw a Rift Bolt, which I will cast. Target you. And then I will Fire Blast. Target you. Sacrifice 2 mountains. So for this, we will bring in Harsh Mentor and take out Eidolon. This hand has 3 mountains and no creatures. We are on the draw, so it's probably fine enough. They play Lair of the Hydra into Mana Bond. And then they put 6 lands into play. I draw a Swift Spear, which will deal a total of 1 damage, and pass the turn. They cast Winding Way. They Simic Growth Chamber. Return a forest. And they put 2 lands into play. So they have lethal next turn by sacrificing Urza's Cave to find a Thespian Stage. I will suspend Rift Bolt. I will Plasma Bolt. And then attack for 2. They are at 15. They sacrifice Urza's Cave to find Thespian Stage. Simic Growth Chamber brings back Tranquil Thicket, which they cycle. They put Kahira in hand and pass the turn. They have a Rift Bolt, which will take them to 12. I draw a Fire Blast, which we are 1 mountain short of. And then I will attack and have it be blocked by a 20/20. Merit Lage enters, and we lose the game. I will maintain my sideboarding decision. We will play first. 2 lands, some spells. 2 Fire Blast is... it's about the same as a mulligan to 6. So we will start with a mountain and a Seal of Fire. They start with a Lair of the Hydra and a Mana Bond, putting 5 additional lands into play. I will play Mountain and Harsh Mentor. They cycle a land, and I will pass. They have found their 20/20, which means I can no longer win the game. I will play a Goblin Guide and Chain Lightning them. We will hit them for an additional 2 damage. They produce a 20/20, which deals them 2 more damage. I will take them to 13, and then lose the game. Round 4. The opponent is a nameless, faceless eldritch horror that is glitching on my screen. This hand is fine. On your first couple of turns, you want to attack with creatures, because creatures are repetitive sources of damage that, if left unanswered, will deal more to the opponent over time than a single burn spell is capable of. Monastery Swiftspear is particularly strong because of the prowess mechanic. That means whenever you cast a spell, the card gets stronger. Creatures are excellent sources of repetitive damage, so if you have the opportunity to attack with a creature, it is better than not doing that. Lightning Bolt is the best burn spell because it can be played at instant speed. Instant speed is faster than sorcery speed. Creatures often prove difficult to remove when they are cast in the first 3 turns of the game, because efficient removal costs money and mana. Sometimes your opponent is unable to best your opening volleys. Winning game 1 is generally ideal. Because the opponent is using spells. Magebane Lizard may prove beneficial. When examining mulligans in a red deck, you typically want to see a mixture of lands and not lands. You need lands to cast your spells, and you need spells to cast with your lands. On the first turn, I will cast Chain Lightning. This is effectively an additional copy of Lightning Bolt. In theory, if you cast 7 copies of Lightning Bolt, you win the game. I will now play a second mountain and put Eidolon of the Great Revel into play. This card says when the opponent casts a spell, they take damage for doing so. Countering a spell is a very strong way of dealing with it, because the spell does not touch the board. Rift Bolt is among the weakest copies of Lightning Bolt because it is very poor on rate unless you are willing to commit time to the card. Many decks seek to counter the mono-red strategy by opting to gain life, because gaining life is effectively casting a counterspell on one of my cards. A 1/1 squirrel will not beat a 1/4 lizard in combat. When choosing to cast Rift Bolt from exile, it is important to remember that the goal of your deck is to reduce your opponent's life from 20 to 0. Creatures are a particularly strong way to deal damage to the opponent over time. 2 squirrels are as strong as 1 goblin. They will eviscerate each other in hand-to-hand combat. In theory, that idea scales infinitely, and any number of squirrels could take down any sized creature in hand-to-hand combat. See, for example, Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, who will lose in hand-to-hand combat to 21 flying squirrels. When you draw more lands than the strategy of your deck would normally imply that it wants, that is called flooding out. This is because you have a flood of lands that you cannot control. I am now being attacked by a squirrel. I am as strong as 20 squirrels. My lizard is only as strong as 1 squirrel, but it is tougher than 3 of them. My opponent has cast the card See Beyond. This is because they have cards in their deck that they do not want in their hand. This is because of the card Oath of Druids. When choosing to cast Rift Bolt from exile, it is important to remember that the goal of your deck is to reduce your opponent's life total from 20 to 0. Creatures are an excellent way to deal repetitive damage over time. The card Fire Blast is very strong because you can cast it without paying its mana cost. This is our burn deck. This is the deck that we played today. It's called Burn. Do I think this deck is good? No. I think that this deck is bad. It doesn't do anything. It does one thing, actually. I apologize. It does exactly one thing. And most of the time, that one thing is not good enough. Like we saw, black decks will destroy burn. Most decks who have the option of doing things will destroy burn. I don't think that there is any merit to playing burn. Just to be completely honest, I think that the format has moved beyond burn as a good deck. I think that the strategy is still viable. I don't think that it is particularly useful for doing much of anything except punishing people who are not prepared for a reliable, linear, aggressive strategy. Would I play burn again? Probably not mono red. I would play versions of the deck like Tinderbox that have other things that they could be doing. I don't think that the combo of playing 21 lightning bolts is worth your time in the year 2026. This is strictly competitively speaking. If you enjoy burn and want to play it, you may. You have my permission. I will not be touching this deck ever again. That's all for this one. See ya.